Gay Henson is the Valley-wide president for the TVA Engineering Association. She works for the TVA at the Sequoia Nuclear Station as a project control specialist and previously spent many years as a health physicist providing radiation protection to workers, the environment, and the public. Gay has served as Valley-wide president of the Engineering Association, IFPTE Local 1937, since 2005. The Engineering Association represents about 2,500 workers at the Tennessee Valley Authority and includes engineers, scientists, technicians, IT professionals, program administrators, and operations support specialists. In 2012, Gay Henson was elected as the Eastern Federal VP for IFPTE and serves U.S. federal employees east of the Mississippi. Paul Shearon is also on the line. He was unanimously elected international president of the IFPTE. Before coming on full-time with the union, he worked as a numerical control programmer, heading up programming for Boeing's new six-axis water jets used to cut composite empennage for the first 777 aircraft. Subsequently, he served as the organizing director for IFPTE's largest local, the Society of Professional Engineering Employees in Aerospace, Local 2001, from 1996 until being elected as the union's secretary-treasurer. He ran successful organizing drives in Seattle and Wichita, bringing union representation to over 5,000 employees. And during their famous 40-day strike in 2000, Shearon was charged with developing the strike plan and actively supporting strike line activities. He also taught as a teaching fellow for the AFL-CIO Organizing Institute and was a guest speaker at the Third International Conference for Professional Engineer and Scientist Organizations in Copenhagen, Denmark in 2003. So that was a long introduction for the both of you, and we are incredibly excited to have y'all on the line.
Try and connect the whole thing back up again, because I'm sure he's got to be on the way now.
We'll try it. I'm going to add this call again. Let's try to add
Paul and Gay, can you hear me?
Add him back in, yeah.
I can hear y'all. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. There we are.
We can hear you at all. We weren't able to hear you. Okay, there we go.
Okay, very good, very good. So we've got everybody on the line. David, we're good on our end. Everybody, fantastic. So, Gay, this would be a. Can you just tell me what geography your local covers? I know it covers about 2,500 workers at the TVA. Where all does your local represent?
Okay, yeah. So most of the workers are in Tennessee and Alabama, and we also have workers in Georgia, Mississippi, Kentucky, a few in Virginia, and North Carolina. So 7 states across the Tennessee Valley region.
Gotcha. Okay. So with that out of the way, can you walk us through what is happening at the TVA regarding the outsourcing?
Sure. Well, I think it's important to note that TVA outsourced 20 jobs in November. They were management jobs in IT. They were for architects. But and they used a CDM. It's a process called a contract decision model. And we weren't involved in that contract decision model since the work there was for management, but they're now wanting to outsource and have told the workers they're going to outsource 108 jobs, infrastructure and software engineer type jobs out of the entire Tennessee Valley region. That was done under a CDM as well. The process did not go very well, but TVA finished that CDM and has decided to outsource that work. But there's an additional CDM that's underway right now wherein 130 to 150 additional jobs could be outsourced. In fact, we're right in the middle of that model with TVA at this moment. Whenever this happens on the first 108 jobs, I actually did calculations based on salaries. That will equal $47.2 million to loss of income to the local economy over the next 5 years. And the second wave of work will be a loss of $40.4 million of income. So a total of just under $88 million.
Right. Yeah. That's incredible. When I read that, And that, that was going to be my next question, and you already answered it. What it would mean for the local economy if TVA actually follows through with this decision to outsource, and just this first round of layoffs would be the equivalent of nearly $50 million over 5 years taken out of the local economy. Can you talk about what it would mean for the TVA? What does it do to the mission of the TVA if they follow through with this outsourcing?
Well, as you know, TVA's mission is heavily set. I mean, it was created years ago, 1933, to bring economic development to our area, which includes jobs for people. And so, in my mind, this is totally contrary to TVA's mission. It's like turning its back on its mission in a way. I know that the TVA brings work into the valley, through businesses and such, but this is 100% anti to that. I mean, it's just not it's not the appropriate thing to do at all. It's like TVA's lost its way as far as what its original mission was, and it's acting more like just a business.
Right. Now, another thing that I didn't even, as a organizer, as someone in unions, this isn't something that even crossed my mind. My first thought is what's going to happen to the local economy, what's going to happen to the workers. But our representative here in North Alabama, Mo Brooks, he has been publicly critical of the move, and in his questioning of this move, he cited national security concerns. Can you talk a little bit about what the security concerns are that come from outsourcing TVA's IT work to foreign companies?
Paul, you want to take that one?
Sure. I'd be happy to. Yeah, I'll say we were very happy to see Congressman Brooks's reaction with regards to this, and I'm going to tell you, this is really, I always like to break things down to their most simplest terms, and if you go to the Tennessee Valley Authority, you go take a look at the nuclear power plants. When you walk into those facilities, you'll walk through guard gates with security who are carrying machine guns. You'll go through multiple metal checks. And this is all of the employees, and their equipment will go on a conveyor belt and go through an X-ray machine. After which point they will be enter into the plant, and where they will continue their work. That's the level of security at that level. And now at this point, how can you find something that needs to be of a greater security than the information technology for the management and the running of the Tennessee Valley Authority in these facilities? So you leave a back door wide open when at the same time you are scrutinizing people, as they should, coming in and out of those facilities. They also, by the way, President Trump signed an executive order which was restricting the purchasing of electrical generation equipment, so large turbines and such that equipment had to be bought from American manufacturers for fear that inside the equipment bought from foreign manufacturers may be internal bugs. So if we want to leave the back door open, it certainly in this environment is a risk to national security.
Right.
Yes, and if I could add to that, he talked about the access to the buildings, but our power grid is connected to all the software. I mean, our software and infrastructure, our entire business continuity is at risk because, the power grid's connected to all that. The software is all connected to it. All of our work processes are interconnected with the software and infrastructure. So it's a big transmission of electricity and power grid. And Watts Bar makes tritium. So our tritium production as a nation, it comes from Watts Bar nuclear plant, which is, that's, to me, that's very problematic.
Yeah.
It's very scary. Yeah.
If I may just add one more thing with regards to this, to the as we know, right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and Lord knows the impact that this is having on shutting down businesses and also, having people restricted to homes. And, we're going to be at 100,000 people dead pretty soon. By outsourcing this work, the Tennessee Valley Authority will be losing control of a large portion of their workforce that, in fact, controls the information technology. I'm not running the Tennessee Valley Authority, but that seems like a bad idea to me.
Right. Speaking of losing control and not understanding the motives, can you just tell us, we've got about a minute left before we go off, can you tell us what their stated goal is for outsourcing? Like, why are they saying that they're doing this?
Okay. Yes, so this is Gay. Yes, they said that they want to leverage the market, which was confusing to us, but leveraging the market would normally mean that you're going to save money somehow. But they're telling us it's not a cost savings measure at all. And Lyash went on record recently saying that we need to move to take advantage of the new cloud-based technologies, and that's why we're changing the nature of the work and then Thomas, who's the chief financial officer, said, the fundamental change in business model is so that we can go in-house to contract.
Right. And I'll just say we're heading out now, and I'll say something else that they said, that they said it's not any fault of the workers. It's just that they don't have the same access to tools. And my thought is, give them the tools. Give them the tools that they need to do their job, and you won't have to outsource it. But anyway, we're heading out. We're going to be talking to Paul and Gay on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
Someone's born, angels went fire. Ooh, that been like blue. And when the man puts down to the cheese, I'm up on the cannon like you know. It ain't me. I don't send it outside. It ain't me. I don't want to be found. No. Some folks are born, some folks for the land. Not doing the hell themselves.
All right, we are back with the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison. I'm here with David Story, and we've got Paul Shearon on the line, along with Gay Henson. How are y'all?
Good, thank you.
Great. How you doing?
Good. So where we left off, we were talking about management's stated goal for the outsourcing, and they said that they were trying to leverage the market, and they even mentioned that it's not any fault of the workers. It's just the simple fact that they don't have the same access to tools as this other foreign company does, apparently. And also, in one of their reports about the performance of the workers, the management said it was nothing short of stellar. So that seems to poke a hole in their argument about why they're doing it. So what do you see the outsourcing move as?
Well, I mean, I'm at a loss for why they want to do it. When they say that this fundamental change they're making to the model of how they do the business is making them, requires them to go out to the market to get it, it's just not true. I mean, our workers can do this work. In fact, we've been trained in the model that they are outsourcing to. They just didn't give our workers a chance to do it. So everything they say makes no sense to me. And I don't really know why they're doing it. I mean, Paul, you want to?
Sure. Let me weigh in on that a little bit, because I mean, some of this talk here, we talk leverage the market, and there are a lot of these corporate slogans that get kind of thrown out there, and when you try to actually define them, I mean, they're products of the corporate world and their own internal human resource type facilities. But the reality behind a lot of this stuff, when you take a look at this outsourcing of this type of work, and take a look specifically at other places where it's happened, and one of them I'd like to point out is Ontario Power Generation. It's up in Canada, and Ontario Power Generation outsourced this work And they did it to with Capgemini, one of the companies, by the way, that TVA is contracting with. After a couple of years of that, they pulled that work back into the facility because it was a bad idea. And if you take a look at what had happened down at Southern California, Edison, where this type of work also has been outsourced, they haven't pulled it back in yet, but workers at Southern California, Edison, have to sit at their desks and train foreign H-1B workers to come in and take their jobs, American jobs. And what makes this worse at TVA? Not only are these American jobs, but these are jobs that are being paid for with American dollars.
Yeah.
TVA is a government facility. These companies who are coming in here taking American dollars are not American companies, and the one that has a base in Virginia is actually has a headquarters in Ireland for tax purposes to avoid paying U.S. tax dollars. It's absolutely unconscionable.
Yeah, and if I can add, TVA it's Capgemini, CGI, and Accenture that they're wanting to use. Accenture, they keep mentioning that this has all been done out at PG&E. Well, I talked to somebody from our local out there, Local 20, and Accenture was one of the companies they used for a while, and they sent them off down the rail because they didn't do a good job for them. So they're not using the companies that TVA says these companies out there like they say they are. In fact, that you can basically say they're not working for them for IT work at all out there. So I don't really know what leveraging the market means, except it's the term that TVA has used repeatedly about this work. So
right.
It's just wrong. The people can do the work. We should have the work. We already have the work. We should do it.
Exactly. So, obviously we've been kind of making the case as to why this is the wrong move. And I've seen a lot of outreach from the union with some politicians and the media. Can you talk to us about some of that outreach, how it happened, and what some of the results have been?
Yes. So we most of the Tennessee delegation's been silent until most recently. Representative Stephen Cohen out of Memphis said, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. And it's actually trying to tie this to the next COVID relief bill. And we're really grateful for that. We thank him for that. But I'll tell you who stepped up first was Mo Brooks, followed shortly thereafter by Senator Doug Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Doug Jones has done a great job of trying to say that, we built TVA as the economic driver for the region, the Tennessee Valley region, during the Great Depression. And now we are headed into another economic huge downturn, maybe even another depression of type. And we're doing it. We're not stepping up, and he's very upset about it. There is a representative out of Knoxville, Tim Burkett. We talked to him. He pledged his support to help us, but that support fell off, and I don't know why. I do know that Alexander and Blackburn out of Tennessee, the senators are not helping at all, and say that basically TVA should be able to run their own business. That since they don't get appropriations from the federal government, they should be able to just run this business, and that they really don't have any say in it.
That's insane. That politicians saying they don't have any control over government agencies. That's crazy. But I'm glad to hear that there are some folks that are trying to help you out, like our representative here up in the 5th Congressional District in Alabama, our Senator Doug Jones. That's really good. Hopefully there will be some more come on board with that. Now, what about some cooperation with some other unions? David here is the president of a machinist local in Decatur, and he mentioned that the machinists have a local at TVA as well. Have you reached out to them or to any other local unions, to state federations for help? And what has the response been, if so?
Well, Keith McFarland here is at TVA is a friend of mine. He's a great guy. We've talked to some of them. Most of our work's been more at the national level, since TVA is a federal agency.
Right.
But we have had lots of unions, like OPIU. Several of the unions have said they would help us. All of them, all of the building trade. I mean, all of the labor council unions would help in any way. I know that some of their members know for a fact that their members have joined in that action network and sent letters to Congress and to the board. So we're real appreciative of that.
That's
Paul,
great.
You want to say some more about?
I hate to cut you off. We've got about 30 seconds left, so I'm going to let you carry us out. Can you tell us what us and our listeners can do to help save these jobs?
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're out of time for this segment, but if everybody could follow our page and we'll give some instructions for listeners as to how they can help save these American jobs. Thanks, Paul and Gay, for coming on. We'll see you after the break.